They say in Vegas the house always wins, but when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes, they beg to differ.
Your Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you to the everydayer for making your first listen of the day. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, talking everything about your Carolina Hurricanes. I'm your host, Zach Martin. I'm the credentialed Carolina Hurricanes beat writer over at the Hockey Writers. I also do a column on the Chicago Wolves called Wolves Weekly. I am the co-host of the Surgecast, which is a weekly Carolina Hurricanes podcast, along with all my duties here at Locked On Hurricanes. Got a fun Tuesday winning edition of the podcast for you guys as I will be recapping the Carolina Hurricanes 5-2 win over the Vegas Golden Knights from Monday night. Excuse me. Also, I'm going to talk about kind of what stood out, what kind of guys showed out for the Hurricanes that night in the win. And then we're going to listen to Rod Brind'Amour in his press conference and get my thoughts on that later on in the show. But before we get into all of that, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet. You get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Now, the Carolina Hurricanes on Monday night going to Vegas after their, the tough loss that they had against the Colorado Avalanche didn't really go their way. And, looking for a bounce back. It's kind of what you're looking for in terms of you knew there was going to be one of those games you're going to drop. While Colorado wasn't winning, the record-wise wasn't great, you're still talking about a team that has Cal McCarr, Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen and stuff like that. So, while it stinks to lose to a team with a losing record, it's still the Colorado Avalanche, which still has a lot of big powerhouse names on there. But you go into Vegas, we talked about in the Monday preview show where it's, you still got Shea Theodore, Jack Eichel, Alex Pietrangelo, some guys like that. Mark Stone's out, but you're still talking about a Vegas team who's still Las Vegas. And, you go in there and how about just an absolute dominating fashion of a win by the team as you look at the fact that you had multiple guys with multi-point games. You're looking at Jordan Staal, 1 goal, 1 assist for 2 points. Eric Robinson, goal and assist each. And just Barry Kokoniemi, goal and assist as well. And then you look at the defense. How about Jacob Slavin getting 2 points in the game as well, all assists, but you cannot go wrong with how good of a game that the Hurricanes had. I mean, now, special teams wise, Vegas did have 1 power play goal out of 3 chances. Of course, that came very late in garbage time with 12 seconds left. What can you do? Unfortunately, Carolina had 4 chances, didn't really capitalize on all of them, but you still won the game 5-2. It is what it is. But this is, I think, the first time in a while we see them win the faceoff dot, and they won pretty convincingly. 59.7% to 40.3. I mean, you will, if you're Rod Brind'Amour, you'll gladly take that in terms of what you're looking for in terms of your team where you kind of want to, set yourself up to win faceoffs because it gives you some better opportunities, to, get in possession of the puck, control the flow of the game, and not having to worry about chasing the puck around. You kind of having it in your possession already from the start. And that's kind of what you saw in this game right off the rip. Because the first period, 4:24 in, Eric Robinson scores his 4th goal of the season. Sean Walker and just Barry Kokoniemi getting assists on the score sheet. And then not too much later, about 8 minutes later, just Barry Kokoniemi gets his 2nd of the season, makes it 2-0 Carolina with Martin Necas getting his 16th assist already on the season. And Eric Robinson returns the assist favor from KK and gets 1 of his own. So already in the first period, Jerry got 2 guys with multi-point games already from Robinson and Kokoniemi. Second period, if you can't get a power play goal, why not get a shorthanded goal as Jordan Staal, the captain, gets his 2nd of the season, 3:38 in on a fantastic slap shot. And hey, you cannot ask for a better opportunity to come back for the fact that, you didn't score power play goals, but nothing wrong with getting some shorthanded goals as well. Then how about making your Hurricanes debut tonight and cashing in right away? And that is Tyson Jost getting his first of the season. His first is a Carolina Hurricane on a deflected shot from Jacob Slavin, who got his 5th assist, and then Jack Drury got his 4th. So you're up 4-0. You're feeling pretty good about yourself because you're going into the last period. You're pretty much dominating the Vegas Golden Knights at this point because you look at the shot totals. 16-4 in the first period for Carolina. Vegas has 13 out of 11. 13 and 11 in the second period, but you're pretty much dominating the shot totals in the first couple periods. You're basically imposing your will on the Golden Knights. Then, of course, you can't keep the big boys down long enough for Vegas, but Jack Eichel gets his 5th of the season, 6-11 into the period, and then Jordan Martinook gets the empty netter at 14-28 for his 5th of the year already. It's funny because we remember when Jordan Martinook was still waiting to get his 1st, and now he's already gotten his 5th in the last couple of weeks. And of course, Jordan Stahl, multi-point game, gets his assist, and then Jacob Slavin gets his other one to finish his multi-point game as well. And then Ivan Barbashev with 12 seconds left with a power play goal, garbage time one, his 8th of the year. And then, of course, Jack Eichel gets his 19th assist of the season for his multi-point game as well. But all in all, it's just outside of the garbage time goal, it's 5-1. If you take the empty netter out, it's still 4-1. So all in all, the Hurricanes had a pretty dominating game. I mean, there's really nothing wrong you can say. Would you like the power play to score? Yeah, but you still walk away with a shorthanded goal of your own. So it's like you still kind of dig the knife a little bit deeper into Vegas, or the sword, I guess as they say, if you're the Golden Knights, of how you're just, you don't want to give up a shorthanded goal because that's always tough when you're trying to claw back into a game. You're down 2-0 at the time, and then you find a way to, get scored on. Now Carolina's up 3-0. They're pretty much dominating the game at that point, and now it's kind of deflating for the home fans too when you look at the fact that your team is not really getting a lot of chances for the most part. Carolina comes into town for losing to Colorado. And right from the jump, you can just tell there was a bit of a difference in the Hurricanes. And of course, they were up against Colorado in Denver as well. But it seemed like the Hurricanes took that loss. They were like, okay, we're going to use it as fuel, and just came out and just started swinging right away. And they cashed out, and they took the house money and netted Vegas with a win. And like I said, just an overall great game. Like you saw a lot of depth scoring. Now, when you say depth scoring, you think of third, fourth line guys. When you're talking about guys like Eric Robinson, who's not really known to score a lot of goals, or just Brad Kokiniemi, who's been playing a lot of really great hockey this season so far in terms of a lot more defensive structure to his game. Getting a lot of the assists there, finally cashing in for him. So you love to see that. But he gets on the score sheet once again. I mean, how about Tyson Jost getting his first of the season, his first as a Carolina Hurricane? That's just great to see. And then, of course, you got the Jordans. You'll gladly win a game where you got both Jordan Stahl and Jordan Martinook putting in goals themselves, and that's just something that it's not like Martin Each just didn't score, or Sebastian Aho or Andrei Svechnikov, and this is a game too where you don't have Seth Jarvis. Now he's out. Now we've heard before the game he is out day to day. Kind of got nicked up with an upper body injury. They're saying it's his shoulder. He's back in the sling. We don't know when his return is, but you go into your first game without Jarvis. I think it was like an 18-game streak, or I think it was like a 13-game streak where he had all the original 18 guys on the ice, but you're down one of your best players, and you still go in there and take care of business. And it just goes to show how good of a team that Rod Brind'Amour has, and especially with the Carolina Hurricanes have as well. And there's a lot of milestones and a lot of figures that happen in streaks that are still alive for the Hurricanes as well after that night. And obviously we got to talk about one guy that we haven't mentioned yet who had a really great night in net. So with that being said, stick around, guys, as I'll talk about what stood out in the 5-2 win for the Carolina Hurricanes here in a second on a Tuesday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. The World Series, Super Bowl, the Olympics, the world's top athletes get to play in these top-level sporting events thanks to one thing, teamwork. And teamwork can also protect your financial legacy and your family's future. Select Quote's licensed insurance agents are the perfect teammates when shopping for customized, affordable life insurance. They can find you the right policy to keep your financial legacy safely in your family's end zone. Now, one thing about Select Quote is the fact that it's one of America's leading insurance brokers with nearly 40 years of experience, helping over 2 million customers find over $700 billion in coverage since 1985. And for the fact that if you are in good health, they work with carriers that could get you same-day coverage for up to $5 million. No medical exam required. Select Quote. They shop, you save. So get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/LockedOnAHL. Go to selectquote.com/LockedOnAHL today to get started. Once again, that is selectquote.com/LockedOnNHL. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports book partner of the NFL. Welcome back to segment 2 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. And like I said, we're going to start, going over what for me stood out in the game for the Carolina Hurricanes win against the Vegas Golden Knights. And how about for the fact that Martin Necas, with his assists last night, that gets him up to a 10-game point streak. And you look at how just as stellar of a season he's having right now. Yeah, yes, he's not on that multi-point run that we were seeing earlier in the season, but I mean, you still look at how great he's playing. Like I said, 10-game point streak. He's up to 24 points in 14 games. Still plus 11 on the team. Yeah, he's not at the point, he's not at the almost 2 point per game pace, but you're still looking at a guy who, as of right now, is still second on the team in goals behind Jack Roslovic, who has 9, but leads the team in assists with 16. Next best is Sebastian Aho at 10. And then points-wise, Andrei Svechnikov at 14, Aho at 13, and of course Jarvis at 11, and Jack Roslovic at 10. But for a season that Martin Necas is having, you will gladly take that in terms of just how great he's playing. And like I said, we're not expecting multi-point nights every night from him, but just to prove that he's worth that contract extension, going from 3 to 6.5, you will take that start, and you hope it's consistent. And right now, he's being one of the most consistent Hurricanes right now, like I said, with a 10-game point streak. Now, talking about points, congratulations to Eric Robinson for his 100th career point in the NHL. Of course, that's spanning between the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Buffalo Sabres, and of course, now the Carolina Hurricanes. So big congratulations to Eric Robinson for that milestone. You'd love to see it for him. And now, like I said, the one guy we have to talk about, which is just what a run he's been on in his last 7 starts. How about Pyotr Kochetkov? So this was from Kane Stats brand on X. Big shout out to them. If you don't follow them, make sure to do so. Right now, Pyotr Kochetkov is 7-0 with a .911 save percentage, a 2.28 goals against average, and for the fact that just how dominant he's been outside of the loss going back to St. Louis. Which, I mean, at that time, didn't play for over a couple of weeks. That was a weird part of the schedule where the Hurricanes lost that game to had one of their games postponed to Tampa. It's just again a long break in between games. Lewis is a close one to St. Louis, but then right after that, he's been on an absolute tear for the team. Now, yes, there's that weird Philadelphia game where you give up 4 goals, but I mean, it's Philadelphia. It's a John Tortorella led team. Of course, he played really well against Washington a couple days before, and then absolutely dominated against Pittsburgh 2 days later. That's their 5-1 win. So, yes, he has some given up some goals. When it's like 4 here and 4 here, but overall, I mean, you go into Vegas, you shut them down to only letting them 2 goals in the game, but you finish with a .938 save percentage. I don't really know any coach that would be upset with the fact that you have a solid netminder in Pierre Kachekov or netminder, if you want to put a little Russian on it. But it's just in a season where you're having questions on goaltending, like Frederick Anderson's coming his last year of his contract. He had a great start to the season as well. He's out week to week. We're still not sure when he's officially going to be back. You call up Spencer Martin. Talk about throwing him to the Wolves against the Avalanche. That was just a tough one. But I mean, overall, Spencer Martin's a good backup goaltender. But this is the season where I believe that you have to give Pierre Kachekov a lot of starts, because that's all we hear is he's better when he's having a heavy workload. He's playing almost every game. He wants to play every game. And, this is the opportunity that's been presented to him. Now, would you want it that way? Probably not. You want your other net-minded to be in there with you as well. But to be able to do what he's been doing right now, coming off a lot, we saw how good he played last year for the Hurricanes, where he was setting himself up to being the guy, with Anderson being out for over 40 games. He's 8-1, it's like you want to try to find a way. It's like where how do I put this? It stinks of how you've had to lose Freddie for multiple reasons of different types of with blood clotting or injuries for Pierre to get his starts. But of course, last year 23-13-4, started 40 games, had a .233 goals against average and .911 save percentage. Had 4 shutouts last year. This year so far, 9 starts. He's 8-1-0, with that 7-game winning streak. He's now at a .245 goals against average. And, he started the season off in the 800s. Now he claws way back to a .902 save percentage. And while, yes, he only played 3 games back in the 21-22 season, every season since he's been in Carolina, he's been over 900 in the save percentage category. So it's one of those things where it's great seeing the fact that he's getting his starts. You're seeing him playing where they all thought he could be. It's just unfortunate you have to lose Freddie Anderson to get to that point. But like I said, he shows out last year for the Hurricanes when Anderson's out for over 40 games, the blood clot issue. Antti Raanta is struggling. He goes down to the minors at one point. You claim Spencer Martin off of waivers to get some other stability in goaltending. But he was that guy for the Hurricanes last year. I think he was one of the big catalysts to the turnaround that you saw from the Hurricanes where, the Western Canada trip, they're 0-4. They come back east, beat the Ottawa Senators, and then just absolutely go on a run. And now this year, you lose Frederick Anderson, but now you are 11-3 after 14 games. Your goaltender's on a 7-game winning streak. You got Martin Necas on a 10-point game streak. It's just you're seeing the netminder that you all thought he would be, and right now he's playing phenomenal hockey. And I think it's what's keeping Carolina afloat right now. With the team in front of him is playing really good, but for the fact that he's been a brick wall for the Hurricanes right now, I think it's definitely given them a lot of confidence in playing their game. And they don't really have to worry about the goal because they know Pyotr Kochetkov is back there. He's going to shut it down. And that's all you can really ask for out of your goaltender. Yeah, you might give up 3 or 4 goals, 3 or 4 goals a game here and there. But, with how Carolina's scoring right now, scoring over 4 goals a game, you'll take that. You'll take that. It's one of those things. But overall, really can't be able to say without the Carolina Hurricanes are playing, especially how great Pyotr Kochetkov is as well. And, he's got 2 more years of his contract after this year, $2 million. And I think right now, I know it's still a small sample size this early into the season, but you might be looking at the number at the 1A for the rest of the season. And I would say definitely whoever they bring in next year as a backup, I think Pyotr Kochetkov is probably going to be your definite 1 or 1A for the future if you're the Carolina Hurricanes. So after all of that, Rod Brind'Amour did meet with press after the game to give his thoughts overall on the game itself. I'll give my thoughts to what Rod Brind'Amour said, so stick around as we'll do that here in a second on a Tuesday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long with PrizePicks. PrizePicks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Now, do you think Connor McDavid will get more than half a goal next week? Or do you think Austin Matthews might get more than 1.5 goals in the next game? Well, you can cook up the hot takes with your friends and win real money this hockey season when your crew run your game with PrizePicks. Now, for me, do I go into a game thinking that, will Nathan MacKinnon score a half a goal next game? Or does, Sidney Crosby have more than 1.5 points? Well, you can do that with PrizePicks. So download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Once again, download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. And you do that at PrizePicks, where you can run your game. Welcome back to segment 3 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. So like I said, at the end of segment 2, Rod Brind'Amour met with the press after the game to give his thoughts on the Hurricanes' 5-2 win. So without further ado, we'll jump into that, and then I'll give my thoughts here in a little bit after listening to Rod Brind'Amour.
Rod, how would you describe the response from the group here tonight?
I think it was real solid. Good start. I think the first period is where we were able to capitalize on a good period. We've had some good first periods where we just haven't gotten anything out of it, and then they're going to start having a good pushback, and they did, but we were able to get that lead, and that's really crucial.
Really tough situation with Seth Jarvis obviously missing the game here tonight, but then you have Tyson Joe step up and execute night one.
Yeah, nice to see him get a lucky bounce, but it's we need contributions from everybody every night, and different guys tonight, which is great.
What have you seen from the penalty kill?
We've been giving up goals here and there, but tonight was the difference early. At the end of the game, doesn't matter, it's over. So I thought getting that shorty is huge too, right? It's kind of what killed us the other night. We gave up a shorty. It really puts a dagger in there, and I thought that was a real big part of the game right there.
The Kotkaniemi line continues to contribute. Is there one thing that stands out the most from them?
Not really. I think what you talk about contributions, right? It's not one guy. All 3 now are really, I think, dialed in and really been, I guess, almost our number 1 line. That's been real positive for us.
Big thank you to Rod Brind'Amour of the Carolina Hurricanes for that. And a lot of great things that did come away from that that press conference, and the fact that Seth Jarvis being out, unfortunately, it stinks to see not him in the line, but he got Tyson Jost, like I said back at segment 1, getting his first goal, contributing on his debut night with the Hurricanes. Love to see that. And then talking about the penalty kill, that you hate giving up one super late, but at that point it's already out of reach. It's 5-1, but you get a shorthanded goal, so it kind of helps you out as well. Hey, look at that first period, and there's been a lot of first periods this season where the Hurricanes kind of dominate, but you get 1 goal, maybe you don't get any, it just doesn't go your way. But you love to see where you get a night where it's you get 2 goals, you're kind of up early, then you kind of impose your will, try to control and run your game as it goes along. And then, you look at how, they talk about the Kakaniemi line with, Robinson and, Nietzsche and all them, how great they've been playing. And Rod said too, it's just, getting about contributions. That's what you talk about, contributions you're getting from everyone. And now that line is playing so well. And he even kind of slightly mentions, like, it's almost your number one line right now. Of course, we all know Rod Brind'Amour doesn't number his lines, but it's a line of Robinson, Kakaniemi, and Nietzsche's that has been pretty much right from the jump of the season, have been contributing right away. And it's like, now I will say it took about to the Edmonton game for them to get together, but I would say right from the jump of that point is where it really took off, because you had Kakaniemi and Nietzsche's, the start of the season already playing well together and stuff like that. So they're playing pretty decent going to Edmonton. And then, of course, you had Robinson, and somehow that just the line just unlocks itself. And now you're seeing where Kakaniemi is putting himself into a good spot where he's, almost top 5 on the team in points. Eric Robinson's scoring at a really great rate. He's at a over double-digit plus-minus already. And when you talk about Martin Nietzsche's on a 10-game point streak, 24 points in 14 games, it's just – and, they also – Rod Brind'Amour mentioned it pregame with, you got to have your big guys, your superstars step up. And, while Aho and Svechnikov have been playing, like, you see the points, they're getting them. But this is we all know Aho has a slow start. But if you're talking about those two guys, you really want them to be the superstars that we know they are and kind of control games. And right now we haven't really seen that controlled game from either one of those guys. But I mean, they're still contributing, they're still putting points up, but it's just that where's that superstar takeover factor that we need to see from them. But luckily, you're seeing that with, like I said, Nietzsche's stepping up in a big way for his 24 points. KK is getting a lot of points right now. Eric Robinson as well. So, like Rod said, that second line is almost becoming like your quote unquote first line. Just that that is your home run line. That is your putting the dagger in the other team, or the trendsetters or the tone setters. And, you love to see that from those guys. You were hoping for some bounce backs for some of them. And right now, the bounce back is really real for Kakaniemi and at least Nietzsche. And then, hello, Eric Robinson. You're making less than $1 million on the team this year, and you're contributing right away. And, it's still short sample sizes. But, hey, if he's playing really well and the Carolina Hurricanes like him, who knows? Maybe there's a potential idea there for, maybe something in the future. But you got to love how those guys are playing together. And it's just one of those things where, you love to, take where you're at right now and to win. And now you take that into Utah on Wednesday night and hopefully, finish the road trip with another win and go 2-1. So I guess we'll see how that goes. But guys, that'll wrap up a Tuesday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. Thank you for making Locked On Hurricanes your first listen. For your second listen, find Locked On Fantasy Hockey, become a fantasy hockey expert, and get the edge over your league mates with daily tips from Steal and Flip. Find Locked On Fantasy Hockey on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. If you want to follow me, I'm at OneTrueZach on X. The podcast is LO_Hurricanes. There's a link to my bio where you can find all my articles at the Hockey Writers, or just go to thehockeywriters.com. You can look at the there. Go to the podcast platforms and on YouTube. For this show, Locked On Hurricanes on all podcast platforms. Make sure to leave a 5-star rating and review, because if you do, I might read it on the show. For YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell notifications so you don't miss the show. Hit the thumbs up button, let me know that you like the show as well. And let me know who your standout Hurricane was in their 5-2 win over the Vegas Golden Knights. Share the podcast with all their KX to become everydayers just like you, because we're over 1,000 subscribers. Let's just keep it rolling. Let's get to 2, 5, 10. Let's not stop this train from rolling, because we are on a good run as of late. But I hope everyone enjoyed the Tuesday episode of the podcast. Hope everyone enjoys their Tuesday. And until next time, as always, let's go Canes.